What's going on, Alabama fans? Chris Daughtry back with you guys here on the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. The Crimson Tide got a ton of good news really over the past 2 days that we're going to touch on here today. Some injury updates from Kalen DeBoer, a new late 2026 signee, and some more recruiting news. And by the way, we're also going to talk about Kalen DeBoer's comments. He was straight up asked, is he going to be Alabama's head coach next season? And kind of talked around it, then was asked again. Then he pretty much confirmed it. We'll go over all that here on today's show. Before we get into the injury news, though, make sure you guys are subscribed. The first injury report is actually going to come out on Tuesday this week. Normally, those SEC games, the availability report, normally on a regular week would come out on Wednesday. But because the game is on Friday, not on Saturday this week, it's going to be kicked up a day to Tuesday, and we'll have a official availability report out there for you guys via a short, or if there's nothing really surprising on there, probably just post it on the community side. By the way, we are also really, really close to 35,000 subscribers here on Chat Sports, or the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. Make sure you stay up to date on all things Crimson Tide news. We will be live, by the way, on Friday for that Alabama versus Oklahoma college football game. So do not miss out. Join the community and hit that sub button for me right now. All right, we're going to rattle through these injury updates here really, really quickly. Both Jam Miller and Josh Cuevas, Kalen DeBoer, basically saying that they're pretty optimistic that those guys are going to be able to be good to go for that Oklahoma game this week. Obviously, Jam Miller had that lower leg injury. Josh Cuevas a couple of weeks ago had his foot in a boot. So Kalen DeBoer said those guys are trending in the right direction right now. And when it comes to the offensive line, both Parker Brailsford and Kam Dewberry, both of those guys looking pretty good right now, should be good to go for that game. Kevin Riley, by the way, has been out for a while with that broken jaw. He was not seen at practice today. This is the first time practice was actually available to the media in a very, very long time, really since like the beginning of the year or something like that. But because it's college football playoff game, they go by the bowl game, playoff game committee, whatever you want to call it there, kind of their rules when it comes to covering these teams. So Alabama media was out there at practice. Kevin Riley, though, was not. All right, a couple more guys to touch on here. Kelby Collins was back at practice today. He was out last week with an illness, from that SEC championship game. Justin Jefferson and Zabien Brown, by the way, both of those guys kind of got banged up in the SEC championship game. They are going to be good to go for this weekend. Abduall Sanders Jr. was back at practice today as well. He missed the last 5 games for Alabama. He had been on the listed as out on the availability report there for a while. And really, the one that I just am kind of worried about at this point right now is LT Overton. Kalen DeBoer basically, he straight up said that he's probably going to be doubtful for this game this weekend. And when you go back to when the first, the news happened, LT Overton, the Tuesday before the SEC championship game, he was out there, talking to the media. And then on Wednesday, he was listed as out. And Kalen DeBoer was asked about that, and Kelby Collins. And, first he said illnesses/medical issues, and, which kind of perked up my ears. I was like, okay, illness is one thing. What the heck is a medical issue when it comes to that? I've seen rumors out there on social media about what it possibly could be. I'm not really going to speculate on anything like that. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any inside, information there on LT Overton. But, truthfully, I just really hope that he's going to, battle through whatever he's going through right now. But, unfortunately, Kalen DeBoer said they are going to continue to evaluate LT Overton here. It's a big loss for Alabama's defensive line if they cannot get him back for, however long they have for the rest of the season. So what is your concern level on the LT Overton status, I guess is what I'll call it right now, because I don't know if it's an illness. I don't know if it's a medical issue. Whatever's going on with LT Overton, why he's not on the field, I don't think it's anything, nefarious or anything like that. I don't think he's secretly suspended from the team or anything like that. I think something's legitimately going on here. What is your concern level? Scale it for me 1 to 10 down at the pinned comment of today's show. All right, Alabama got some more good news last night. They have a new 2026 signee. JUCO cornerback Nick Sherman it was added to Alabama's 2026 recruiting class late in the process here. He is actually from Northridge High School there in Tuscaloosa. He went to Itawamba Community College in Mississippi as part of their 2024 recruiting cycle. The SEC actually voted, I think it was last week, might have been the week before, either way, to go from 85 to 105 scholarships. That's really big. It was actually approved by the NCAA, or maybe somebody sued the NCAA to make it happen. Either way, most schools around the country had already had 105 scholarships going into this season. They knew what they were going to do recruiting-wise. Well, the SEC finally, voted on that. They waited until after this, regular season was over before voting on that. So going from 85 to 105 scholarships here. So probably going to have a couple more late additions as well, according to Bama Online. It's got to fill out the rest of, those additions there. But when it comes to Nick Sherman here, 6'2", 190-pound cornerback, played some in the slot, some on the outside in community college. He's a Tuscaloosa kid, by the way, coming back home. Now, going to JUCO, not exactly sure what the eligibility status is going to be like for him. Diego Pavia sued the NCAA to get an extra year or two coming from JUCO. Basically, he was saying those JUCO years shouldn't have counted, so he was able to get a couple extra years of eligibility on that front. So, he might have all 4 seasons basically coming in as a freshman, but I really don't know. It might be 3 seasons. I guess, somebody might actually have to sue the NCAA again to, really see how many years of eligibility he's going to have. But a late addition here in Alabama's 2026 recruiting class. All right, we'll continue with more good news here in just a second. But first, today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season. Best time of the year for sports. You have bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every single day, what gifts to buy around the holiday season, which bowl games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that, my friends, is on PrizePicks. New feature alert, by the way, on PrizePicks. I absolutely love that PrizePicks added this. They now have early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. This is what we got cooked up for the Monday night slate of games here, going with Aaron Rodgers more than rushing yards. Just needs a half rushing yard for Aaron Rodgers there. I think that probably going to happen. He usually scrambles at least once throughout the game there. Hopefully he doesn't get sacked. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter. In professional football, they don't take out sack yardage from rush yardage. So good little one that you need to add in there to your Monday night slate of games. Devon Achane going with more than half rushing plus receiving touchdown. So Achane just needs 1 touchdown there. And going with Tua, more than a half passing touchdown for him. Hopefully, that's our 3-pick power play. Hopefully, we can get that one to cash in tonight. PrizePicks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players' stats. And if you get your picks right, you could cash in. Get in on the action. PrizePicks is now available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and yes, PrizePicks is available in Alabama as well. So download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link, by the way, down in the comments section and the description of today's show. We appreciate PrizePicks for being our sponsor today. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, before we get into some more good news for Alabama here, just did also want to give an injury update on some of these notable Oklahoma players here. Defensive end R. Mason Thomas, we're going to call him questionable as of right now to play. Still got a quad injury that he's dealing with. Their starting center as well was out with an infection at the end of the season, Jake Maikkula. Oklahoma coach Brent Venables was basically asked not if they're going to be good to play, but if they're going to be able to practice this week, and he just said, yeah, that's it. So I'm, as of right now, still going to list these guys as questionable, but, if they're going to be good to practice this week, I would assume they're going to try their best to, get them in this game. Like I said, we'll find out a little bit more on Tuesday night when that availability report comes out. All right, back to the good news for the Crimson Tide here. More 2027 recruiting rumors. Alabama continues to trend for 5-star 2027 quarterback Elijah Haven, who will commit in January. So December 15th when this video is going out, and just a couple more weeks before Elijah Haven makes his commitment known. 5-star quarterback actually dropped in the 247 Sports composite rankings from the number 1 quarterback to the number 2 quarterback. Either way, incredible player here. 6'5", 215 pounds. Actually led his high school to its first state championship in over 20 years. That's always impressive when, you have those long, state championship droughts. You're able to, come back and bring them to a state championship game. Took multiple visits to Tuscaloosa during this past football season. LSU, Georgia, Florida also got visits during the football season as well. So there are definitely going to be some other teams involved. Got some crystal balls as well for Alabama from Brett Greenberg of 247 Sports. Also has some official predictions from rivals Sam Spiegelman and Steve Wiltfong. So as of right now, Alabama trending very heavily for 5-star quarterback Elijah Haven. Does commit in January, so I want to hear from you guys. Where do you think Elijah Haven commits? Type A for Alabama, G for Georgia, L for LSU, or F for Florida. Let me know what you guys think down inside the comments section of today's video. All right, the last bit of good news here for Alabama, and this is the last time we will talk about this unless something wild happens, and I don't really expect that to happen there. Kalen DeBoer finally was able to step in front of the media today, and he reiterated twice that he will be at Alabama next season. It was actually kind of funny the way it went down. Nick Kelly was the first, question to Kalen DeBoer, basically opened it up and said, just for clarity's sake, so things aren't left up to interpretation here, are you going to be the coach at Alabama next season? This was what Kalen DeBoer responded with, saying, I put a statement out yesterday. I knew yesterday and today were going to be pretty important because Alabama started practice yesterday, also had practice today, and didn't want that to basically be, a distraction or anything like that to the players. Continued on saying, I wasn't going to see you guys until today to address it, so that's why I put it out there last night. I feel completely supported. My family loves living here. Just all the things that we continue to build on. I love the progress. Haven't, talked to anybody. No plans to talk to anyone. So that's a lot of, what I said a couple weeks ago when that Penn State rumors were kind of popping off there during the season. It continues to be the same thing now. Now, that doesn't really answer the question, and there was a lot of Alabama fans. They actually had the live chat going on. A lot of Alabama fans were in the chat kind of going crazy saying, oh, my God, he didn't answer the question. So, I'm sure some people in the media kind of thought the exact same thing. So they actually went to a second question, and then coming back for the third question was Charlie Potter of Bama Online, and he asked, just for clarification's sake, going back to Nick's question, will you be the coach at Alabama next season? So point blank period was asked, will you be Alabama's head coach next season? 2 different times during this press conference. Kalen DeBoer kind of gave out a little chuckle again, laughed about it, said Nick, yes, Charlie, yes. So that if that doesn't put the rumors to bed, I don't know what's going to put the rumors to bed. So when you go on social media, when you go on Twitter and you see these Michigan fans saying, he has to publicly denounce these rumors multiple times before he's totally out of the running for that Michigan job. I've also seen this one as well. If he loses to Oklahoma, then he's gone. He's just saying that. They're going to wait till after the Oklahoma game for things to actually, shake out there. If you see those types of tweets and comments or whatever on social media, just go ahead and block those people. They're just simply in shambles right now because their program is a complete disgrace to college football.